Okay, so if you're making the turkey, the pressure's on, and I've got all the tips and tricks on how to keep that bird super tender, super juicy, and how to get that beautiful, luscious glaze. So you've got the big bird, what are you gonna do with it? Okay, there are so many different ways to prepare a turkey for roasting, but one of my favorite ways is to dry brine. I know you've all heard of brining, where you stick the whole bird into a wet brine of liquid, but to be honest, I don't have enough space in my fridge for that. So this is a much easier way. It's gonna take a little bit longer, but it's easy. So first of all, we start off with the salt, and I want a really good amount of that salt. And then I want some sesame oil. This is gonna add a little bit of flavor as well to our turkey. And I'm just gonna use some Chinese 5-spice to, you know, kind of Asian style things up a bit here. I'm using my homemade version, which you can find on YouTube. And just give that a mix. Okay, now here's my biggest tip. So you want to be, of course, rubbing this salt all over the outside of the turkey. But what I also want you to do is get in there under the skin. So really just open up little pockets where the breast meat is, because what we want to do is make sure we get heaps of that salt mixture in between the skin and that breast meat. I don't want any liquids getting anywhere in my fridge. So put your tray or your plate of the turkey on it. Then get another piece of foil. That way we're completely protecting our turkey and our fridge. Now, this is gonna take about 3 days. I know it sounds like a long time, but you really wanna give that dry salt brine time to work its magic. Okay, so now we're gonna make my secret ingredient. Well, it's not so secret now because I'm sharing it with you all, but my secret ingredient for an extra special turkey, and that is bacon butter. Let me just show you how it goes. First of all, I've had some butter melting in here. I'm gonna add in some bacon, and I'm just letting that gently simmer away. What I'm trying to do is render out all the bacon fat and all the bacon flavor into the butter. Now that's been bubbling away for a good 10 minutes now, and the smell of that bacon butter is so ridiculously good. But let's keep going. Now we just need to strain off the bacon, and obviously you can use the bacon for whatever you want. So many different purposes, but what we're after is that bacon butter. Now, I've got a tray here lined with some cling film. Just want to pour that butter into the tray. Okay, now that goes into the freezer until it's really firm. So, of course, here's one I prepared earlier. Now the salt has had its time to do its thing. Let me get out our secret weapon, our bacon butter. Just unwrap that, tip it out into cutting board. And then I really want to do the same thing that we were kind of doing before, and that is just making some little pockets here between the skin and the breast. Right, now cut up your bacon butter. Oh, even just saying bacon butter makes me hungry, yum. And now we have these chunks of flavor, and they're gonna go in here, in between the skin and the breast. Now, roasting setup. What you want is a tray underneath a roasting rack. So we get turkey onto the rack. Now I'm just going to tie the legs together with some string. No particular technique for that, just tie them up. The glaze for this is super simple, just some hoisin sauce, and to that I'm going to add some dark soy sauce for a little bit of colour, and then a little bit of sesame oil for some flavour. Okay, now just brush this guy with our glaze. Okay, now my other technique for cooking the turkey is to part steam, part roast. Now I'm going to put water into the bottom of the pan. The steaming and the bacon butter and the brining, these are all things that are going to help to keep our turkey meat super tender and super juicy. Next tip, use some baking paper on the top of the turkey before you cover it with foil, because you've gone to the trouble of making that beautiful glazed skin. You don't want to be ripping it off when it sticks to the foil. So baking paper, foil. Now as much as you can, tuck that turkey in nice and tight. I really want a lot of that steam getting up into that turkey meat. Now this goes into the oven for an hour first. All the times and temps for this recipe are on my website, so check it out there for all the details. All right, let's have a look and see what we've got. That's looking good, it's smelling good. You know what's lovely? I can really smell that 5-spice coming through. That's so good. I'm gonna put another coating of glaze on here. Now turn the oven temperature down a little bit now, and I want to put this baking paper and foil back on top. Now this guy goes into the oven bottom shelf, people. Bottom shelf because I don't want the top of the turkey getting too hot. And this is going to go back into the oven now for another hour. Okay, another turkey reveal. Let's have a look. Now that is looking and smelling really good. I want one more brush with the glaze. And basically now we're just about giving the turkey a really good color and finishing off the cooking so it's cooked all the way through. So I'm going to put this back in for another 30 minutes. All right, now let's check and see what's going on here with our turkey. Now I can see that's just reached 72-degree point, so I'm just going to leave it to rest. Allowing it to rest, it's still hot, so it's going to keep on cooking through for a little bit longer. So that's it, guys. All the tips and tricks for a spectacular turkey for your holiday table.